Okay guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. Alright guys, I'm back. It's Wednesday, September 30th, and the last day of the month. So tomorrow, rumor has it, it'll be the 1st of October. September just flew by. I don't even know where it went. It was September 1st, and now it's September 30th, and it's like a blur. Anyway, let's get into the news. It is 9:14 p.m. Eastern Time, so let's get at it. Now, I do have a couple people to thank that donated via coffee. Barb Bell, that's Barbara B in Cincinnati, and Joan, also Diane Haney. So thank you guys very, very much. Your donations really mean a lot. It keeps us going here, keeps me doing what I do. Also, I got the coolest letter from Julie S. from Alcudia. Now, you're probably wondering where that is, and I was too. Actually, I had to look it up on a map of the world, and what a fascinating place that is. She sent me 2 postcards with nice writing on the back, so I enjoyed the message, and also, then I had to go and, look into where this was. It's on an island off the coast of Spain, right up there close to France, but very, very interesting place. And so I know what's on my wish list for my next vacation, because I looked at this place and I fell in love with it. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. So anyway, Julie S. from Alcudia lives in one of the most beautiful places in the world. And she said that most of the income there is from tourism, and I can understand why. It is like, it's amazing there. It's beautiful. And someday, I pray before I die, I'll make it there, because it just appeals to me so much. Anyway, thank you, Julie S. And now we can go on with the news. All right. So let's get into it. I don't know if you guys watched the debate last night, but if you didn't, you missed something. I don't know what you missed, but you missed something. It was kind of a dog's breakfast. I'll tell you what my impressions are before I go forward, because I'm going to be reading to you other people's impressions of it. My impression is this. I think that Trump was debating 2 people instead of 1. In fact, he was more often debating Chris, what's his name? Oh my gosh, isn't that awful? I forgot his name. Probably by, let me see if I can just, oh gosh, what is his name? Chris Wallace. Chris Wallace. I am so sorry for that. I don't know why. It just left my brain. So anyway, most of the time Trump was actually debating Chris Wallace, not Joe Biden. Also, yes, Trump did interrupt, but I would like to say that the very first person that started interrupting was Joe Biden, then Chris Wallace, then Trump. It was very, very, very one-sided. They were absolutely out to get Trump. Chris Wallace was the most biased moderator, and he defies the word moderator. He's not moderate at all. He's absolutely biased towards Joe Biden. And I mean, if you can't see that, you're blind as a bat. So how is it that they're finding somebody that is completely biased against Trump to host the debates? Please tell me why. Well, of course, we know why, because they need to give Joe Biden every advantage he could possibly get in order to make him even appear like he's semi-coherent. Now, he did well, but you would have done well too if you had a wire in your ear. Now, CNN has said it's a crease in his shirt. It most certainly is not. CNN thinks we are idiots. They do. And they prove it to us over and over again by their ridiculousness, which is why their ratings have tanked and nobody wants to listen to them anymore. They know it's absolutely fantasy. You know, when I was a kid, I used to go into the grocery stores and, you know, I loved to buy the teen magazines and everything. You know, when you're that, like the little boy bands and everything you have a crush on when you're a teen. Well, along with all those magazines would be once like the National Enquirer. Now, it was bad, but it wasn't as bad as World News Daily. And you'd see things like, you know, an alien eats its way out from the inside of a New Jersey housewife. I mean, ridiculous things. Well, to me, that is what CNN has become, a World News Daily. Like, an alien eats its way out from the inside of a New Jersey housewife while she's washing dishes. You know, things like that. That's how ridiculous CNN has become in my mind. I equate it with that. Those stupid magazines I used to see as a child, and even as a child I knew they weren't true. You know, you look at it and you go, please, Bat Boy found, you know, things like that. Stupid, stupid things. Anyway, that is what CNN has become. I think that the debate was a farce, a huge farce. I think it did a great disservice to Donald Trump, and yet I still think Trump won. I do. He won the debate against Chris Wallace and against Biden, and he should never have had to debate Chris Wallace, ever. So let's go on now then. That is how I feel. There was some moments where Trump shone, and we're going to go through a couple of anomalies as well. So let's just start here. We'll start from the top and we'll work our way down. All right. Now, it says, well, a patriot with a good eye released this. And they put it to the attention of Donald Trump. And I'm glad they did. Now, let's make this bigger. I want to make sure everybody can see it. And you don't really need the sound for this because it's not what he says, it's what he does. So let's go back here. And again, this is a little blurry, but I can't do anything about that. This is the quality of video that they uploaded. So watch Biden. He reaches inside his coat. My dad always used to call it an overcoat. I'm not sure what the proper termination is, but anyway, his jacket there, and he puts his hand in there, and you can see a wire that comes out. He has dislodged the wire that was quite well hidden. All right, now watch. Now it's quick, but there's the wire popping out. And they're saying, oh, that's a crease in his shirt. It most certainly is not. And we're going to see later on today, tonight in this show, we're going to see what he was actually wearing and why he was wearing it. I've seen many, you know, people postulate on what it could be, but James Woods, he's the one who found out what it really is. So kudos to him because he's a sharp cookie, if ever there was one. Okay, now let's click on this. Now, also, I have a new setup here when it comes to my setup here. And let me know, because the camera is not, it's tethered, but it's not, it's a little bit different. So it does shake every now and then. So let me know if this is an issue for you, because I can fix it. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I depend on your feedback to let me know what's going right and what's going wrong. So thank you. And most of you are so kind in saying things like, oh, could you do this or could you do that? And I don't mean to you know, insult you, but it's not, I don't take that as an insult, not ever. So yeah, don't ever feel bad about saying, look, I can't hear, or, you know, whatever, or please make it bigger. But the tiny phone people have told me to make it bigger so many times, I just automatically do it now. So that shouldn't be an issue. All right, so here's number 2. All right, and let's take a look at this. Now let's make it bigger. Now Chris Wallace, here is where he steps out of the role as moderator, not that he in any way embodies the word or the meaning of the word moderator, but let's listen here and listen to Trump's comeback.
Their plan. Well, first of all, I guess I'm debating you, not him, but that's okay. I'm not surprised. Let me just tell you something, that there's nothing symbolic.
care plan.
Well, first of all, I guess I'm debating you, not him, but that's...
Because he's supposed to be asking the questions and then giving each candidate 2 minutes of uninterrupted time to answer it. Well, let's just put it this way. He uninterrupted Trump, I think 76 times, and Biden 15. Those numbers might be off slightly, but that's basically it. He just kept interrupting Trump, and then he'd ask his own questions. And so that's why Trump said, well, I guess I'm debating you and not him. And that's okay, he says, you know. But it was odd. Like, even I was thinking, what the heck? My gosh, he's got to be the worst moderator in the history of moderation. So let's go down now, and it says Sean Hannity, who won the presidential debate. And this is newsnationnow.com poll. 60% said Trump won, 30% said Biden won. And I would say that that's probably a fair, I would say that that's probably a very fair estimate. And 60, that's only 90%. So 10% I would assume were either didn't know or didn't offer an opinion. I don't know. So let's come down here. Now, it says, I love this. Breaking. The Commission on Presidential Debates says it will add new tools to maintain order to the upcoming debates after a chaotic first contest between President Trump and Democratic nominee Joe Biden. And Trump responded to that and said, try getting a new anchor and a smarter Democrat candidate. Oh, he's a good zinger. I love his zingers. I really do. Now, I know people get mad at him. Like, I'm up here in Canada. Hopefully temporarily. I want to return to the U.S. very badly. But even though I still love Canada, but not in the winter. Anyway, you know, the people up here do not like Trump because our news is so biased against him. I mean, really, really biased. And so, you know, all anybody ever hears up here is how terrible Trump is. And you hear people grumbling about him in the grocery stores and in the lineups and at the gas station and everywhere. It's like, oh, that idiot in the States, blah, blah, blah. Like, because they don't get the right news. I keep trying to tell people that you can't trust Canadian news. And they're like, oh, yes, okay. That's how they are. And so, yeah, they point to things like this and say, well, this is why we don't like him. Now, this is precisely why I like him. I like him. You can't get away with anything around Trump, and Trump will let you know what he's thinking. You don't have to worry. Gee, I wonder what he's thinking. I love people like that. I really do. Because if they're mad at you, they'll just come right out and say it. I love that. How refreshing is that? So anyway, and here is Kayleigh McEnany, and she says, this is a complete lie from CNN. Well, if it's from CNN, it probably is a lie, right? President Donald Trump has repeatedly denounced white supremacy, including today. Now, this is from the debate last night because they asked him to denounce white supremacists. Oh, no, they asked him to denounce Proud Boys. Okay, I can't remember how that went now. I think that he said, you know, Chris Wallace asked something about white supremacists and why do you refuse to whatever, and then Biden said Proud Boys, and Trump also said, well, name them. Like, what do you want? What groups do you want me to call out? Because he's called out the KKK, he's called out white supremacist groups, and anyway. So that is where that came from. So now, of course, CNN and everyone jumps on that. Oh, he refuses to you know, say anything about or to denounce white supremacy when he's denounced it over and over and over again, and he's on video denouncing it. Anyway, President Donald Trump has repeatedly denounced white supremacy, including today. Question: white supremacists, do you denounce them? President Trump: I've always denounced any form of any of that. CNN: dodged the truth again. Yeah. And This is by, and Manu Raju said, he has said it over and over and over again. Trump campaign spokes Tim Murtaugh tells Jake Tapper when pressed repeatedly why Trump doesn't say he doesn't want the support of white supremacists. Today, Trump at the White House dodged the question. No, he didn't. He said, I've always denounced any form of any of that. So he's not dodging the question. But of course, it doesn't matter if Trump tells the truth about anything, they are going to make it into a lie somehow. Somehow. I have never seen anyone more malign in history. He has been denigrated, maligned, slandered, you name it. And today I saw some of the worst, atrocious Facebook posts from a person that was calling for him to be like, you know, and like I reported it. I hope everybody else that listened to it or saw it reported it. Unbelievable. I've never seen any man in history have to go through this. I mean, not in my lifetime anyway. I can't speak for what has gone before me. But anyway, let's move on now. And Donald J. Trump, many more people would have died from the China virus if Sleepy Joe were your president. He didn't even want me to close our country to infected China until 2 months later when he said I was right. Now he likes to say I didn't close up fast enough. Just another politician. And isn't that what we're trying to get away from? Is just another politician? You know, when Trump says it's not just a 4-year, he meant that by, it's not like he's just going to do his time, bide his time in there, and nothing's going to change. He is actively working towards change. He has done more for this country than I don't know who has done more for our country than him. To tell you the truth, he isn't even taking a salary. He donates his salary back to the government. And he takes all this grief. He's also lost money in his personal finances because he's not there to run his businesses. So he has actually lost money during his term as president. And whereas everyone else that comes into politics comes in with, you know, very little, and within years they've got millions in their bank account. How does that happen on a public servant's, you know, wage? Really? How do you do that? I mean, yes, I realize that they earn over $100,000, but really, $100,000, especially if you're living somewhere like California, that's not a lot of money. It's really not living there. And, you know, and yet some of them have 2 and 3 houses worth millions. So, yeah. And it's quite evident that, you know, the Democrats are lying. They don't have much to denigrate him on. So they're going to keep harping at the COVID, and the white supremacy, because they want to make it seem like it's not Antifa and Black Lives Matter that's doing all this. It's the white supremacists that Trump supports. That's the narrative they want. And also, Trump did nothing. And now there's 200,000 people dead. No, well, first of all, there aren't 200,000 people dead of COVID. There are 200,000 people dead, just not of COVID by itself. Most of these people were very, very ill before they even got it. And we know that the flu kills way more people every year than COVID does. And yet, you know, you don't close the entire world down, which is what they've done. So, yeah, those are the things they're going to keep harping on because they don't have anything else. Okay, Donald Trump's not perfect, and I'm not going to say he is, but my gosh, he's the best we've had for I don't know how long. Who wants another politician? We don't. That's what we're trying to get away from, but they don't get that message. They don't. All right, and let's look at this before we come. Let's look at this first. Let's take her as it comes. All right, now this is from 100%fedup.com, and I'll tell you something, I am at the 100% mark. I'm fed up. The first presidential debate is in the books. Debate moderator, Fox News host Chris Wallace did his best to give Joe Biden an advantage by repeatedly interrupting President Trump and treating him with a total lack of respect. Yes, he did. I've never seen a president treated like him. He spoke to him like he was a kindergartner. It was disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And if I already wasn't boycotting CNN, I'd boycott it now. Let me tell you, I won't watch CNN if my life depended on it. It's disgusting. And I don't want to support that in any way, shape, or form. Anyway, I know you're probably saying, no, really, Michelle, tell us how you really feel. Yeah. So by the end of by the end of the first question, it was clear that Wallace was determined to affect the outcome of the debate. The Trump war room counted 76 times that Wallace interrupted President Trump, while he only interrupted Joe Biden 15 times. So I was correct with those numbers I gave earlier. Yeah, so that's a little biased, don't you think? Now, you're probably saying, yeah, but that's, well, you are probably not saying this, but the left is probably saying, yeah, but he only interrupted him 15 times because that's all he needed to interrupt him. It was Trump. No way. I saw the whole thing, start to finish. All right. Unfortunately for Democrats, polls following the debate seem to reveal that viewers didn't allow Wallace's shenanigans to skew their view on the substance of the debate. The Hispanic-speaking Telemundo News conducted a poll of viewers following the debate, and the results should be of concern to Democrats. The Telemundo poll showed an astonishing 66% of viewers felt that Trump won the debate, and only 34% believed Biden won the debate. Now, the Hispanic voting bloc is massive. It's massive. So their viewers are mainly Hispanic, or could be just people that speak Spanish. I don't know. But anyway, 66% felt that Trump won. All right. Trump press secretary Kayleigh McEnany tweeted the results of 3 polls. In addition to the Telemundo News poll, the C-SPAN poll showed 53% of viewers felt Trump won, while only 29% of Biden supporters believe he won the debate. Very interesting. Okay, I don't know what this is. Okay, it's the polls, but here it says CNN, Trump, 3 votes. 3 votes Trump, 1 vote Biden of decided voters. So still, Trump won. No question. He won. This is bad news for Democrats who believe they have the lock on the Hispanic vote in November. Yeah, I don't think they have the lock on anybody's vote, to tell you the truth. I think people have seen enough and are sick because they pushed it and pushed it and pushed it. And at first people were like, they're a little radical. Okay, well now it's past a little radical to the point where people are going, what the heck? This isn't the Democrat Party. That's not the Democrat Party of old. I can assure you of that. And if it was, there wouldn't be Democrat voters leaving en masse to vote for Donald Trump. Right? Doesn't that make sense? You wouldn't have a walk-away movement if the Democrat Party hadn't changed somewhat. People are sick of it. Sick of it. And as well, the blacks are waking up and saying, wait a minute. The Democrat Party hasn't done us any favors. We're voting for Trump. So, yeah, they're in big trouble. They certainly cannot win except by cheating. And that's quite evident because Trump didn't have an earpiece. He didn't have anybody whispering the answers to him. He had to memorize everything. But not Biden. No, he had somebody in his ear the whole time. And we're going to prove that to you later. All right. And I love this too. I have done more in, Trump says, I've done more in 47 months than you've done in 47 years. That's true. I mean, he's speaking the truth. So let's listen to this just briefly.
Years, Joe. We've done things that you never even thought of doing, including fixing the broken military that you gave me, including taking care of your vets. Let me just say, Joe, I've done more in In 47 months, I've done more than you've done in 47 years, Joe. We've done things that you never even thought of doing, including fixing the broken military that you gave me, including taking care of your vets. Let me just say,
that's another, as well, that's an illustration of how Chris Wallace responded. Anytime Joe was in trouble, because, you know, Trump would be hammering him with facts, then Chris Wallace would interrupt and come to Biden's aid. But that is true. He has done more than in 47 months than he's done in 47 years. What has he done except enrich himself and his family? What has he done? Can you point to anything and say, this man built this, or this man, you know, accomplished this? No. And if, you know, all these things he was promising, why didn't he do them when he was vice president? Hello? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. He's been in office for, well, a long, way too long. And all his whole his whole history is dotted with, you know, corruption. He's been caught in so many scandals and corruption. He's said so many inappropriate things to the military, for real. You know, and this, you know, when Trump was questioning about Biden, or said something, or when Trump was questioning Biden about his son, of course, he's like, oh, that's all been disproven. It's all, and that's all he says. That's all he responds anytime he's asked. No, not one bit of it has been disproven. It has been proven. But again, Chris Wallace has to jump in there and save the day for Biden because he too weak and, well, impotent. That's what I would say. He's too weak and impotent. And I don't mean that in the sexual sense exactly, but you know what I'm saying? He just looks, he looks flaccid as a person, as his demeanor. All right, anyway, I'm getting myself in trouble, so I need to back out of that and go on here. All right, now let's look at this by Ari Fleischer. I watched the start of the debate. The first question went to Trump, who gave an uninterrupted 2-minute response. Then Biden gave an uninterrupted 2-minute response. Then it went back to Trump, whose answer was interrupted 3 times by Biden. If you didn't like it, blame Biden for starting it. Yeah, Biden started the interrupting, not Trump. Trump was defending himself, and I say all for it. All right, and on to this by James Woods. Joe Biden's friend and mentor, KKK leader Robert Byrd, even eulogized this racist piece of garbage at his funeral. No reasonable person can vote for Joe Biden based on his personal history with a Klan leader. It can no longer be swept under the rug, period. Answer, Joe. Well, he won't answer. He doesn't think he has to answer to anybody, let alone the American people, because he thinks he's above the law. So let's come down here and on the next item, and we have this. Biden tonight, the Green New Deal is not my plan. Now, this was from yesterday. That wasn't tonight. It was last night. And that's what he said. He backed away completely from the Green New Deal. Said, oh, no, that's not my plan. That's not my plan. Biden website says Biden believes the Green New Deal is a crucial framework. So what is it, Joe? You can't have it both ways. Which is it? But let's go down to his website, because you would think that that would have the right information, don't you think? Well, let's see. It says, and I'm sorry that this is so small, from coastal towns to rural farms to urban centers, climate change poses an existential threat, not just to our environment, but to our health, blah, 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 blah. So we come down here. Vice President Biden knows there is no greater challenge facing our country and our world. Today, he is outlining a bold plan, a clean energy revolution to address this grave threat and lead the world in addressing the climate emergency. Next, Biden believes the Green New Deal is a crucial framework for meeting the climate changes or the climate challenges we face. Again, Biden believes the Green New Deal is a crucial framework for meeting the climate challenges we face. It powerfully captures two basic truths. And it costs, what is it, $11 trillion or something ridiculous like that. And I don't know where Biden's going to come up with the money, but does he really care? No, not his money. So, yeah, but he claimed, oh, the Green New Deal, no, I'm not for that. That's not my plan. No. Liar. All right, let's go back, because there's more. And this from Robert Barnes. Whatever image of impartiality or independence Chris Wallace enjoyed is now gone. During debate, Wallace repeated a bunch of fake news media hoaxes, falsely impugned a 17-year-old kid, that's Kyle Rittenhouse, defamed a group founded by a Hispanic, now I'm not sure what they're talking about there, lied about critical race theory, and pardoned Biden's lies, and he did. So, yeah, I hope his career is over. To tell you the truth, should have been over long ago. Now, this is kind of, we're cutting out for a second, okay, to get to something else that is quite pertinent. I do want to include this, even though we're talking about the debate mainly today, because that's the news everywhere. So, but I do want to show you this in case you miss it. This is from today, hot and fresh. Seagram's heiress Claire Bronfman sentenced to more than 6 years for role in NXIVM sex cult. Now, we've been through all that, and I'm not going to read everything because it's long, and I think we already know exactly what she was accused of, what she did, and her role in the cult. Well, she has now been found guilty. Personally, I don't think 6 years is long enough, but you know, I'm surprised she got anything at all, considering her status in life and as an elite. I'm surprised she got any time at all, but we'll see how much time she really does. All right, let's go back now and go on to something that you are going to find gobsmackingly interesting. Really. Now, if you don't find this interesting, you better check your pulse, because you could be dead. I hope not, because that can ruin your whole day when you're dead, but I'm just saying. All right, now let's look at this. And this came from the Facebook or the Twitter page of James Woods. Got to give credit where credit's due. Now, this is a Q post from September 10th, 2020. It says, debates. 1. Biden camp will find reason to terminate. Biden camp will be provided the questions ahead of time. Now, these are just scenarios that he's looking at, I think, because, you know, he's saying, look, either Biden camp is going to find a reason to terminate, or the Biden camp will be provided the questions ahead of time, or Biden camp will be provided the questions ahead of time and assistance in the form of a special communication device. Wow, what did Q know? He knew something, didn't he? Special communication device. What's that? Well, it's this. Everybody noticed this as well on Biden. There's something sticking out here that people have not been able to determine what it is. It's this. Savox, you're never alone, shows the wire, and here's the wire that goes down. It goes down to his other side. So this side is the opposite side to where this is, exactly like this. Here is the wire, comes down to the other side, goes up and down here, and it's quite evident that he had some sort of a box or device or something under his jacket. So I am 100% convinced that this is what he was wearing. What is it? Well, it is a SCP-110 inductive loop for covert communication. Inductive loop for covert communication. So this is actually a little microphone. And he also had an earpiece in. So maybe he would cough when he needed. I don't know, but this is what he's wearing, no doubt about it, and it is a hidden device for covert communication. So that's exactly what he did. So in other words, he cheated. Not only did he have the answers, but he had somebody coaching him. And probably there was a signal that if he coughed or something, it meant something. I don't know, but it's quite evident. And Trump asked for him to be examined, and he said, well, and I submit to being examined as well for an earpiece. Well, Biden refused. Why did he refuse? Well, we know, don't we? Of course we do. Because if you look at his ear, it doesn't have a hole. They have used something, and he doesn't even have a hole in his ear. Well, excuse me, where'd the hole in his ear go? Yeah, they use something. I mean, they are so good at this kind of plastic stuff now, and they're trying to hide that wire in his ear. So, there you go. All right. Now, let's go on, because we can. All right, this is something as well I'd like your opinion on. Okay, this is from Jess Rodri. Why did Biden say good luck? Unless he was repeating someone's answer, he forgot to exclude the part where they tell him good luck because he isn't supposed to say that. Biden has dementia and was cheating. Well, Biden does have dementia, and yes, he was cheating. But let's listen to this little thing here, and I'm undecided. I'm just being honest with you. I'm undecided. But I readily admit that I could see that somebody said good luck in his earpiece, and he said good luck, instead of realizing that they were telling him good luck. Let's take a look at this, but first we make it bigger for our beloved tiny phone people. All right, let's take a listen.
In this case, the question goes to you first, sir. 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Good luck. 200,000
forward. In this case.
So, what do you guys think? Let me play it just one more time because it's only 9 seconds.
The question goes to you first, sir. 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Good luck. 200,000
forward. In this case.
So what do you guys think? I think it's very, very, it's reasonable to think that perhaps somebody was speaking that in his earphone, because why else would he have said that? I don't know. Because he was the one speaking. If it was going to Trump first, don't you think that, if it was going to Trump first and he said good luck, I wouldn't think anything of that. I'd say, okay, well, he's wishing his opponent good luck. But that's not the case, because he was the one being asked the question and he said good luck. Well, who was he wishing good luck to? So, I don't know. I think there's could be something there. All right, but who cares really? We know he was wired up. We know he cheated. We know that. And the other weird thing is that his eyes were dark on the debate. And they appeared very brown in places, and yet he's blue-eyed. So I don't know what that was about either. So anyway, let's continue now, because we can. Let's see how we're doing on our time. Oh, we're doing pretty good. Yeah. Hey. Boy, that's couldn't that get irritating? That voice right there? Okay, I won't do it again. No, I won't. Not tonight. All right. And this, voters realized that Joe Biden wrote a law focused on sentencing black men to long prison sentences for possession of the same drug his son admitted using, right? He wants you to feel sorry for Hunter while millions of black men rot in jail for doing the same thing his son did. Yeah. Basically, yeah. He's a piece of work. He sure doesn't want to take any questions about his son, though. He gets right nasty when you ask about his son. All right, and this is by Kaylee McEnany. She says, Joe Biden calls Antifa an idea that he refuses to denounce. He did not denounce them. And he said, oh, Antifa's an idea. Okay, in whose reality? Not anybody else's but yours, Joe. Meanwhile, Antifa has destroyed businesses, targeted police officers, killed Americans. That's not an idea. That's a cancer. Denounce. Absolutely. And America is behind that, I can assure you, because nobody agrees. Well, nobody but thugs agree with what they see. Looting and burning people's businesses down. A lot of them minority owned. It's unbelievable. And murder. Targeting police officers? Are you kidding? Oh, it's just an idea. Why would I denounce that? It's an idea. All right. And this by Jan Marie Smith. Why is the Democratic presidential nominee under criminal investigation along with his son in a foreign country, Ukraine, and his son is also under investigation in China and the US, but we aren't supposed to ask questions about it. His son's crimes are all lies, according to Joe. Yeah, well, first of all, he says they're all lies, and then he says, oh, that's been discredited a long time ago. No, it hasn't, Joe, only in your mind. Only in your mind, and we're not so sure about your mind. So let's come on down here, and this is from Eye of the Storm. The American people have the right to know who is speaking in Biden's earpiece and who operates his teleprompter. The people have the right to have Biden's own words spoken to know the true workings of Biden's mind, or lack of workings, as the case may be. And this by Paul Sperry. Very suspicious how the mainstream media and other Biden surrogates are trying to boycott remaining presidential debates, purportedly to spare voters embarrassment of another dumpster fire performance by Trump. More likely, they didn't like their decent and dignified candidate diving into that dumpster. I don't know about that. Yeah. They want to cancel the debates because Trump won, and even though Joe Biden surprisingly did well, but I would do well too if somebody was feeding me the answers in an earpiece all the time. I mean, I could debate on just about anything. I mean, if I had the facts right there, and I started to talk and somebody's whispering facts and figures and, no, it's 200,000 dead, it's, you know, I mean, yeah, I could debate on anything. I could seem like an expert on everything. Be great. If you start seeing me, you wear an earpiece, you got to start to worry. All right. Anyway. All right. Well, here is something that, I don't know, it's pretty out there. Leftist professor calls for cops to be strangled with intestines of capitalists. Offers pathetic defense of quote. Now, this is from today. It's hot and fresh. Yeah. Well, it's hot and fresh, as in a steamy pile of dog crap. It's hot and fresh in that sense. Anyway, let's listen to this. Many young people have taken to America's street and committed unthinkable acts of violence amid the country's 4 months of civil unrest. When you take a look at some of the educators responsible for teaching our students, it's no surprise so many wayward youths have turned to violence. Take leftist philosophy professor Nathan Junn at Midwestern State University in Wichita Falls, Texas, for example. Yes, let's look at him. Last week, Junn took to Facebook to call for the murder of the country's police officers, and he opined that their deaths should be carried out in a brutal and violent fashion. I want the entire world to burn until the last cop is strangled with the intestines of the last capitalist, who is strangled in turn with the intestines of the last politician, Junn wrote on social media, according to KFDX TV. The September 25th post was made by a professor who teaches courses such as ethics, of all things, and introduction to philosophy, according to his official university bio page. Despite the shocking post, though, Junn was not reprimanded by the school, and in fact, he was tacitly praised by administrators at MSU. The school released a statement to KFDX TV. As a public university, we recognize and protect individuals' free speech rights under the First Amendment, so that ideas and information may be freely exchanged and examined without the threat of censorship or retaliation, the school said. Well, you know, unless you're a conservative, but that goes without saying. Occasionally, individuals will express opinions that may be offensive and even shocking, but are nonetheless entitled to First Amendment protection. When our faculty members speak or write as citizens within the confines of the law, they are free from institutional censorship or discipline. Really. Though we take advantage of every opportunity to encourage all members of the campus community to express their opinions in a civil, respectful manner, we view avoidance of censorship as an important part of maintaining the culture of diversity of opinion and academic freedom that is so important to our role as a public university, the school concluded. While the school did not come down on June, apparently the public has. Gee, I can't imagine why. The post was deleted along with June's social media presence, but the scary thing is that someone with these kind of violent fantasies is still teaching kids in Texas. Yeah, that is a scary thing, really scary thing. June was not let go, set straight to otherwise reprimanded as far as we can tell. The professor with homicidal ideations about cops and capitalists did release a statement to KFDX in which he more or less shrugged off the controversy and the death threats he says he's received since publicly fantasizing about the intestinal lynchings of cops. June actually played the role of victim, claiming his life had been threatened and his home had been vandalized. Oh, I'm a liberal and I can dish it out, but I can't take it. I'm a whining, sniveling malcontent. That's what he is. He's a whining, sniveling malcontent, among other things. So there's no way that I can make these sorts of expressions publicly around here without this kind of thing happening again and again and again and again. Yeah, that's right. I'm just tired of it, June told the outlet. Yeah, when you tell, you say you want to strangle police officers with the intestines of capitalists. Yeah, that's... that border, wouldn't that be considered hate speech? Like, seriously. I don't know. I'm just saying. In my world, it is. The professor added he feels obligated by his job to speak out fearlessly and unapologetically on matters of public concern. I can assure you that strangling police officers with someone's intestines is not of public concern, sir. Just saying. I do long to live in a world in which we no longer have cops. Yes, I hope you do get to live in a world that no longer has cops. I don't want my world to look that way, but I hope your neighborhood does. And I hope you see what it's like when you have to call 911 because there's somebody breaking in your house and there's nobody to call because there's no police. I wonder how that social worker that shows up at your door is going to fare. Probably not well. Anyway, because those are my political beliefs and I own them and I make no apologies for those beliefs. During B-roll footage shared by the TV station, June wore a skirt associated with the radical left group Antifa and also affiliated himself. Oh, a shirt. I'm sorry. I thought it was a skirt. June wore a shirt associated with the radical left group Antifa and also affiliated himself with the Black Lives Matter movement. God help the future of America and Abso-freaking-lutely. Absolutely. A cavalier attitude regarding violence is growing more prevalent in the country, as evidenced by more than 4 months of rioting, looting, and ambushes on police officers. With teachers like June, some of the young people perpetrating the violence apparently never stood a chance. I think that was a very well-written article, and that's what I believe. All right. Now, this is a little bit off, but I wanted to include it in this, even though mainly we've been talking about the debate. But let's look at this, because that's all the news that's out there today, folks. I mean, it's all been eclipsed by this debate. COVID police crash 10-year-old girl's birthday party after neighbors snitch on family. Yeah. So police in Scotland turned up at a 10-year-old girl's birthday party after a neighbor snitched on her family for not allowing coronavirus social distancing rules. Yes, really. Mum, Leanne McDonald, said she deliberately spaced out visits by relatives so as not to violate Scotland's strict COVID-19 regulations, but this didn't stop her neighbor from snitching on her and two uniformed police officers entering her home to warn her that she was now on alert and would be charged and fined if she broke the rules again. I could not believe it. They came to the door and told me I had been reported for having people in my house, she told Daily Record. So the police can come in my house, but my family can't? Asked McDonald. She apologized for the infraction, pleading that her relatives were not all inside and they weren't all here at the same time and we all kept a social distance. And there is the little girls, which is very sad. The 36-year-old mother has now been placed on coronavirus watch list for celebrating her daughter Mila's birthday with family. It feels like we are totally losing all our freedoms to this virus, and it feels a bit like they are making it up as they go along, said McDonald, adding that police should be focused on more serious crimes. Brits were encouraged to grass up their neighbors, which apparently means to snitch on them. That's, I guess, a local. Earlier this month, after the rule of 6 was introduced that forbids more than 6 people meeting in one place, as we previously highlighted, COVID marshals are also patrolling the streets, peering through letterboxes and windows to ensure bars and restaurants are observing a new 10 p.m. closing curfew, because apparently, after 10 p.m., COVID comes out and will jump on you if you're out and about after 10. That's what I've heard anyway. Yeah. All right, and students at universities who have been placed under de facto house arrest were also threatened with police action after they posted anti-lockdown signs in their windows. So this is what's happening. It is, I mean, draconian is not even the word for these measures. It's unbelievable, really. I mean, here in Canada, they are advising people to wear a mask while having sex. Yeah. So if you and your partner are married and you're enjoying, your marriage bed, then you're supposed to wear a mask. And how do they monitor that? I don't know, but yeah, it's so strange. All right, now that actually concludes what I have for tonight. I actually did it much faster than I thought I would, but while you're here and while we have this time together, I want to look for that account that had all these unbelievably violent things that this woman wanted to do to Donald Trump. And I bet it's still there because it's on Twitter, and Jack Dorsey doesn't care about that. Well, I mean, they'd care if you were threatening a liberal, but not the president. I mean, Jack Dorsey, he doesn't care about that. Anyway, let's look at this. Let's see. Hopefully, go to my notifications and see. Okay, yeah, I wrote this. But how do I get to the original? Okay, I'll go here. Okay, this is her. Lusting for honey. That's her Woolridge. Now, yeah, they're still there. They're still there. Can you believe that? Now, I don't know how many people have reported this, but I know a large number of people have, but it's still there. Yeah. So I was thinking about how I could have bought violet. Instead, I bought pizza, and the pizza was small and cold. This is probably why I want to D-word and why I'm so miserable. I need someone to love me. Okay, that is just completely weird compared to the other stuff she was writing. Says, someone DM me. I need advice, quick. Yeah, I bet she does, because I bet you the Secret Service is going to come knocking. It says, Canadian woman accused of sending rice in envelope to White House will face indictment in D.C. And Country Girl says, was this her? Woolridge says, a thread in which I willfully explain the ways to assassinate Donald J. Trump and to end this disgusting bile once and for all. So her Facebook or her Twitter page is filled with this filth. And yet she's still there posting. But how many conservatives have been kicked off Twitter? If I was more active on Twitter, I'm sure I would have been kicked off by now. As it is, I'm already shadow banned. But yeah, I mean, I am pretty active on Twitter. But I don't understand it. I mean, good people, good conservatives that were just voicing their opinions have been kicked off. But somebody threatening the life of Donald Trump, no, oh, that's fine. And this has a picture of Ryson, and it says Donald Trump in the next few weeks. That was 15 hours ago. She posted that. And, okay, that's not about Trump. And then she says, besties, if I get suspended, follow my backup at Loving Honeymoon. So that's good to take note of, because I'm sure at some point, hopefully, it says, dear Twitter safety. Okay, yeah. Yeah, and basically what she's done is she's described all these ways in which she wants to murder or wants someone else to murder Donald Trump. And she says, and from here and from there I will rejoice. People will celebrate. Fireworks shall ignite, and America shall once again prosper. Count your days, Donald Trump. Now, don't you think that is a direct threat to Donald Trump? Because I say it is. And let's come down here, and we'll just play a little game with this. Tomorrow night we'll check back to see if it's still there. It will be. I can guarantee, I know I reported it to the Secret Service, to the FBI, to the White House, to Donald Trump. I think that's it. Secret Service. Yeah. And I know probably other people did as well. They had to have. And it says, for Trump to read, Mr. President, the inequity which you have in almost 4 years brought to a country which I once praised, but now I frown upon, is subjective to your elimination. You are a parasite that needs not be president ever again, that need not live ever again. And you know who's causing this? You know who's causing this? This woman is clearly mentally unstable. Clearly. So you add to a mentally unstable woman's head all the crap that is in the mainstream media and the lies about Trump. You mix it together and this is what you get. Exactly. Just like the woman that came from Canada or sent the Ryson letters to Trump. She was Canadian, which is an embarrassment. But I wouldn't want her to be American either, so I guess neither country wants her. All right, and here it says, Woolridge holding Melania hostage. Trump does claim in that musty beak of his that Melania is, of course, his wife. Melania shall be taken hostage with the request that Trump hang himself or simply shoot himself, or if not, that honorary any guard shall kill Trump or choke him. Yep. So this is what Twitter allows. This is what Jack Dorsey allows. He's kicking off all the conservatives, but this is what he allows. Direct death threats to the president. Disgusting. And says guns. Let us say then that poisoning Trump failed, or is it unavailable to anybody within his reach? In the coming weeks, Trump will, of course, have another rally. In this rally, it would depend upon the location, the result of his assassination with the use of guns. So this person is outright, directly threatening the president's life and inciting others to do the same. The epitome of mediocrity. No one else does it like them. I don't know what this is supposed to mean. I don't even know who these people are. Okay, well, don't want to know who they are, actually. All right, so that is it, actually. I don't want to even... And then she goes on, she's saying that, and then she's saying, I want to deactivate. OMG. But if I do, I won't do anything throughout the day. I actually hate my life. Well, I have no doubt about that, because people that are wishing death on others usually hate themselves. Seriously. I mean, I just don't know why you would. You know why? Because, you know, we generally treat others the way we want to be treated. But if someone hates themselves and just thinks that they're, then they end up treating other people the way they feel inside. And so, anyway, I don't think that's, you know, that's nothing deep there. But, okay. Wi-Fi so slow, my brain can't take it. I'm crying. If I don't tweet anything tomorrow morning, I probably K-worded. I probably kill. I don't know. I don't know what she's talking about. She's obviously very, very mentally unstable. And that bothers me. Because mentally unstable people with access to guns or poison or anything else, I don't know. I don't think this woman's actually going to try to do it, but still, it is a direct threat. Should be dealt with. So that is it. And I think we have actually covered everything for tonight. It's been a slow news day because of the debate. That's all anybody out there is talking about. So I thought I'd bring you the news on that, because some of you probably didn't watch it, and you're probably better off not having watched it. But anyway, that is that for tonight. I will be back tomorrow, and hopefully we'll have a little, you know, a pickup in the news between now and then. Who knows? There's a lot happening. We're on the verge of a lot happening as well, I do believe. So who knows what's going to happen between now and November. I don't know, but I do believe that probably the Liberals have some things up their sleeve, the Democrats, and I would just about bet, although I'm not a betting woman, but if I was, I would bet that Trump has an October surprise to remember. That's what I believe, that it's going to be a doozy. So I'm looking forward to seeing that, I think. So anyway, well, you guys have a wonderful evening. I am delighted to spend this time with you. And also, Xander here. Xander, can you turn around? Show them your face. Oh, here. You know what? I don't know if I can. There we go. I'm going to move this over here. There's Xander. Xander, say hello. Look. Look, Xander. Look, baby. Look at the camera. Oh, he's too sleepy. He had a big supper, and now he's just ready to sleep. Which is good for me, actually. It's like having a 2-year-old. You know, it's like when they're down, you try to sleep. Because I'm telling you, this one is active. He is a Chinese, no, an Asian short hair. No, there's, yeah, Oriental short hair, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, I think he's an Oriental short hair. Anyway, they have very distinct personalities. They are very, very athletic. They go all the time. And you can see how tiny he is. He's got teeny, tiny, narrow hips and long legs. And they're very kind of accident prone because they're very fragile, and yet they're so athletic. So he's all ripples with muscles, but he's so tiny. And I don't know why I'm talking to you about my cat. I really don't. Because you probably don't even want to hear this. I don't know. I'm just in a kind of a chatty mood. So I thought I would just chat about anything that pops into my head. That could be dangerous. You have no idea. Anyway, me and Xander are going to say goodnight for now. And we hope that you have as wonderful a night as we are having. That's what we hope for you. So you guys stay safe, stay well, stay blessed, and adopt a shelter pet. If you're lonely and you need someone to love, something to love, get yourself a shelter pet. They are the bestest. All right. Good night, guys. I will see you in the next video.